Welcome back to the channel, Football or Soccer. We got United in the States with us today. What's up, my boy Chris? How you doing, bro?
What's good, man? Always good to be here with you, arguing about Ten Hag, United, everything. Life.
Hell yeah, man. We're here at Legends, New York City. You already know. We're going to get into it. So I just want to ask a few questions, man. It's been a minute since we met up in person, but obviously, there's been a lot of issues going on at United with the manager and the team. Not just the manager, but, the teams and the players not performing. Like, let's get that in there. What do you think? I wanted to ask you, what do you think this manager needs to do to kind of turn it around? Like, what does he need to change? Formation, players, system? What is it that you think? Because I know you're a very true Erik Ten Hag believer. So if you were Erik Ten Hag, what would you do? What do you think he needs to do?
How long is this video going to be?
Bro, we got a couple minutes, so go for it.
No, but for real, though, there's a few things that I would do, okay? The first thing is you got to have that siege mentality, right? There's a lot of negative energy coming. Starts in the media. We hear it here all the time. ESPN's our main source of soccer news in the States. It's filled with Liverpool guys and anyone but United ABUs. So we know there's a lot of negativity out there. He needs to shut that out, and he's got to do a nobody believes in us but us kind of thing. That's the first step. The second step is he needs to get his best 11 out there, right? Ten Hag is a guy who believes in his players. He gives guys second chances. I saw it work out with Fred. Fred played a horrible game against Newcastle 2 years ago. Everyone was like, drop Fred. And then he started him against Spurs. Fred scored, had his best game of the season, right? I don't think he needs to do that with Casemiro, okay? Casemiro, he was great servant to us that first year. He had a weird year last year. He looked okay in preseason, but I think he needs to become a bit part player. Ineos has shown they're willing to bring in new young talent, guys who can play well for now and the future, and he needs to start moving towards that. Last, I think he needs a little bit of time. Right? Like, I think he needs to say, let's not panic. Let's not listen to the outside noise. Believe in yourselves and, trust the process, and we're going to get there. I know there's a lot of hope and trust needed in that, but I don't think there's anything. Like, I don't think if you bring in Pep, yeah, maybe whatever, they do better, but I don't think you bring in most managers and they automatically turn around. It's a thing where the team needs to gel. They need to get together and start performing. And, you got to say it's on you and it's on me, and we're all going to do it together. That's what I would do if I was Ten Hag. That, and I would ban Samuel Luckhurst from all press conferences.
I mean, those are fair points. I would say that. I wanted to ask you about Ineos. Obviously, Ineos have been doing pretty good things thus far. I see a lot of people saying Ineos is doing good, Ineos is doing bad, and all these things. How do you think, in your opinion, from what you've seen? Because it's not easy. Like, we've been in a really bad place and poorly run for a while. So it's going to take, obviously, time to fix this club the way it needs to be. So, having that in consideration, what do you feel Ineos is doing right now?
I'll tell you what, you could say there was a low bar when they took over because the Glazers were so bad, basically like ruined the club in 18 years. But, Ineos has had to walk a tightrope, taking over mid-season, not getting their director of football in place until July. New CEO doesn't start till July. What I think they did is they focused on football first, which I think the Glazers never did. The Glazers were always money first, finances first, brand first. They were looking at the bottom line and how they could take more money out of the club. The one thing I'll say Ineos did well is they focused on, the main, like LeBron has a saying, keep the thing the thing. Keep basketball the thing. That's always number one. Manchester United is the biggest football brand in the world. Only Real Madrid can argue that they're bigger, but I still say Man United is the biggest brand in the world. They need to focus on on-field success. And what Ineos has done so far is they have shifted the focus from signing brand players, signing overpriced players, spending money, not selling players well. They shifted the focus to how do we make this team successful today and how do we make this team successful in the next 3 years. Some of that work started before. They started signing guys like Garnacho and Ahmad. Yeah, I appreciate that. But Ineos in one summer have done better business than I've seen the Glazers do in 18 years. So I think that's what they're doing well. And, it's not over. They got to continue to perform. But I think they've kind of set this club up for better days in the future.
Yeah, but I agree with what you said, 100%. Like, I'm very happy with what Ineos have done. But at the same time, like, when you really think about it, the bar is very low. So it's like we're just acting like as a normal club should be acting in general. Like, you know what I mean? All these things should have been set in place, should have been done. We should have had a director of football. We should have had a CFO that's actually competent. We should have people like Blanc, like Vivel, like Wilcox. We should have had these people that are footballing people since ages ago. So it's like it could be argued that, like, yeah, they're doing a good job, but we're just so used to it being so crap that it's like, wow, like, these guys are doing great, but it's like, wait, you guys are doing the bare minimum, you know what I mean? Like, quote unquote bare minimum, because that's what a club should be doing.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, like, they've actually made some good improvements to the club. So yeah, man. Last thing I wanted to ask you is your expectations this season, man. Whether Ten Hag stays or goes, who knows? But what are your expectations this season, and what do you think we're gonna finish?
I think we're a work in progress. It's Ten Hag's third season. It's his first in the new structure, but you can't ignore the last 2 years. The clock is ticking on Ten Hag a little bit. Personally, I think Champions League should be the floor, whether that's finishing top 4, winning the Europa League, however we get it. We need to be a Champions League club. To be the biggest club in the world and not be consistently in the Champions League is a shambles. I know it's a financial target on some level, but players look at that. We had the pull. We signed Pogba in the Europa League. We signed Lenny Euro in the Europa League. We took him from Real Madrid. Everyone thought he was going to Madrid. We still have that pull, but we need to be a club that's consistently winning, finishing. It's got to be an afterthought that we're in the Champions League. So that's my expectation. Whether Ten Hag stays or if they fire him, give it to Ruud or Carrick or McKenna or Tuchel, God forbid, bring somebody else in. I think that top 4 or winning the Europa League, that has to be the bottom. I know Ineos is saying they're putting out in the press they want to see a style of play more than they want to see wins. No, none of that. I don't think that's what they believe themselves. Yeah, style of play is important, but we got to get back to being a club that's considered in the upper echelon, not just of England, but of Europe moving forward.
I totally agree with that, man. And it's good to see that we, our standards, whether we're Ten Hag in, Ineos out, Ineos in, we share the same standards as a club. Like, we want to be up there. Like, we're not Crystal Palace. We're not a Newcastle. No disrespect, but we deserve to be up there challenging for bigger titles. Like, don't get me wrong, the FA Cup is great, the Carabao Cup is great, but for me, I'd trade that all for. If it was up to me, I'd trade that all for a Premier League. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's good to see. We have different opinions, but at the same time, like, we want the same thing for our club. So yeah, man, it was good to kind of catch up again with you, bro. And definitely, we'll do a live show, and we're gonna definitely hear more from us once the season starts, because it's gonna be a rocky season. Either we're gonna be happy or depressed or sad, but whatever it is, we in there. So thank you, my boy. I appreciate that, dude.
Yo, good for having me, man.
Hell yeah, bro.